Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you some tips for using tabs in apps where you work with documents. So when you want to work with multiple documents in an app, you have two choices. One is to open up each document in its own window, but you can also choose to work with tabs instead, having multiple documents open in one window, each in its own tab. So for instance, here I am in Pages, and I actually have two documents open, but only one window. I've got one tab here with this document and another tab with this document. It looks similar to how tabs work in browsers. So here in Safari, I also have two tabs open in this one window, this one and this one. There is a fundamental difference, though, between apps where you're viewing content and apps where you have a document you're working on. In a browser where you're viewing content, you can go to File and choose New Window or New Tab. You can do this because it's okay to start a new tab or window blank. In this case, it's showing you the start page. The same even works in Mail. You're viewing content here in Mail. So you can go to File and open up a new viewer window, but hold down the Shift key and you can see that changes to a new viewer tab. You can have a second tab open in Mail here and be viewing different content in each one. So in a browser, it's easy to open a new tab, but it's not so easy to open it in a document window like this, because if you go to File, New, it'll allow you to create a new document, but it's going to put it in a new window. If you want it to be in a new tab, you have a few options. The first is to go into System Settings and then go to Desktop and Dock. Scroll down until you get to Windows and look for Prefer Tabs when opening documents. By default, it's set to full screen. So when you're using the window full screen, creating a new document will create a new tab. But you can also set it to always. If you do that and then go back to Pages and do exactly what I did before, creating a new document, you can see it creates it in a new tab in the current window. But there's also another way you can do it that works even if you have the system setting the other way. And that's to use the plus button here to the right of your current tabs. If you use that, it will create a new document in a tab in this window. By the way, if you find this video is valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MacMost at Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. Let's say you have this switched off or just in full screen. Now, if you just have one single document open in this window in Pages, there's no plus button here, and creating a new document like this will create it in a new window. How can you combine these into one window in two tabs? Well, the quickest way is to go to Window and choose Merge All Windows right here. If you do that, it merges all of the currently open windows and all the tabs in them into one single window. So now I've got these both here. And now I've got this plus button here for the next time I create a new document. But there's another way to do it. You can go to View and then select Show Tab Bar. This will force the tab bar on even though there's only one tab. And here you've got the plus button to create your next document. Now, whether you use Show Tab Bar or you just simply have more than one tab open, you've got these tabs here and you can drag them around to reorder them like this. You can also use them to move tabs between windows. So I'll create a new Pages document here and you can see I've got a second Pages window here. I can drag this tab to this window by clicking and dragging here. It's a little tricky. It's not as easy of a drag as a lot of other things. You have to click and kind of hold and then drag away. And now you've got this window here. I want to move to this window and let it come to the front first so it's selected. And then drop it in here into where the tab bar would be or the tab bar if it's there. So I can move tabs between windows that way. I can also click and drag and simply drag it out and it will drag it to its own new window. So if I want to merge two specific windows into a tab, I can do that by dragging the tab at the top. If it's not there like this, I can go to View, Show Tab Bar. So now I can click and drag and I have to do from the tab, not from the title bar or any other part of the window, but from this tab label here. Click and drag, and I can drag it into another window to add the tab to that window. Now you can also do some things by using the context menu. So you can control click, two-finger click on a trackpad, or right click on the mouse on a tab. Again, if you don't see the tabs here, but it's just one tab, you can go to View and Show Tab Bar there. If I use the context menu, you can see I have the ability here to move the tab to a new window. Also notice you can close tab, which is the same thing as clicking this little X here. But you can also close all the other tabs just to keep this one open. So at this point, we should talk about the difference between closing a tab and closing a window. I have two tabs open here. If I go to File and then Close Window, it will close that window with both those tabs. But I could also choose Close Tab. Notice Command W will shift between these two. If you have a window that just has one tab, you'll only see Close Window and Command W for that. If you have multiple tabs, then the Command W drops down to Close Tab here. So in other words, it's only closing the current document no matter how many tabs you have open. You can hold the Option key down and this will change to Close Other Tabs. And note that the X button here at the top left corner, that closes the window. So it would close all of these tabs. But each tab has its own little X button to just close that tab. You also have the ability under Window here to move tab to a new window. So the current tab will go to a new window. And then notice here you've got keyboard shortcuts for Show Previous Tab, Show Next Tab. So basically Control and Tab instead of Command and Tab for the app switcher. And then Shift added to that goes in the opposite direction. So I can switch between these two tabs with Control and Tab like that. But there's also another command you should know about called Show All Tabs. If you go to View, you'll see Show All Tabs there. You can also get to it by control clicking on any tab and it will appear here. When you do that, you get this view, which gives you an overview of all the tabs. So you can see each one and you get a plus button as well. So now I could just simply switch to this tab like that. If I only have one tab open and Hide Tab Bar is turned on, so I can't add a new tab, I can go to View, Show All Tabs, and then use the plus button there to add a new tab. So here I am in Numbers, and I've got a window with a single tab open here, and then this window with multiple tabs. If you go to the Window menu, you actually get a list at the bottom here of all of the current documents open. It doesn't care whether they're in tabs or in individual windows. So you can switch to a document this way, and it'll bring that window to the front. You can also go and switch to a document that's part of a window with multiple tabs, and it will switch to that window and take you to that tab. You can also do this by clicking and holding on the app icon in the dock. And then here you'll see a list of all of the open documents. So if I were to select one that's a tab in a window, it will go to that window and then go to the tab in that window. So you have two ways to get to the document that's open, regardless of whether it's in a tab or in its own window. Another great place to work with tabs is in the Finder. You can have multiple Finder tabs open in a single window. So here, for instance, in the Finder, I've got a single Finder view open, but I can create a new Finder window or a new tab. So kind of works like Content Viewer, like Safari or Mail. So when I create a new tab, I've got two tabs open like that. Each one could be looking at something different. And it works great with drag and drop. I could be in this tab, start dragging and drag over to a tab, wait, and it will activate that tab. And I can then drop it here or just continue to navigate by going down into subfolders like that. In the View menu, you've got your Show and Hide tab bar. You've got Show All Tabs. You can see there are keyboard shortcuts for it. Keyboard shortcuts kind of vary from app to app for those, although the menu items are the same. You can also go to View, Show Tab Bar, and you'll get the plus button here to open up a new tab. And if you have multiple Finder windows open, you can go to Window and choose Merge All Windows, just like with Pages or Numbers. So tabs are a great alternative to working with multiple documents in an app without having multiple windows open. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.